Welcome to this webinar in the latest in Cookbook's series of live streams and Q&As. I'm Matt Cockrell, the co-founder of Cookbook, and for this live stream, I'm really happy that we're working with our friends at Le Cordon Bleu in Ottawa, and we have a demo lined up of two great festive party recipes from Chef Yannick Anton. We have more than 20 cookbooks from Le Cordon Bleu available on Cookbook. And for this recipe demo, I'll be sharing links to these recipes in the chat, and they're also on the main event page where you signed up. And if you don't already have access to Cookbook, there's a free registration which gives you access to 3 recipes per month absolutely free. So just sign up to be able to get all the information about the recipes. Don't worry if you miss anything, this webinar is being recorded and will be available to watch again via the Cookbook website. And while you're watching the demo, you can ask questions at any point using the Q&A box, and they will be answered after the demo by Chef Anton. So I'm now going to hand over to Victoria Doherty from Le Cordon Bleu in Ottawa, who will introduce Chef Anton and explain how things are going to run.
Perfect. Thank you, Matthew. Bonjour and hello, everyone. My name is Victoria Doherty, and I am the marketing coordinator here at Le Cordon Bleu Ottawa, as well as the host for today's demo. And welcome to the Christmas cooking demo here. This demo, again, is brought to you by Cookbook and Le Cordon Bleu Ottawa. For those of you who don't know what Le Cordon Bleu Ottawa is, for over 125 years, Le Cordon Bleu has been the leading global network of culinary arts institutions, providing education excellence and training within the culinary industry. We have more than 35 schools in 20 countries all around the world, and each year 20,000 students from 100 different nationalities are trained in the art of cooking in our schools. For any information on Le Cordon Bleu and specifically Le Cordon Bleu Ottawa, you can visit our website or follow us on social media. During today's demonstration, our multi-award winning and renowned cuisine chef, instructor Chef Yannick Anton, will be teaching you how to make 2 festive canapés from Le Cordon Bleu's Home Collection cookbooks. The first recipe will be a red Mullet Tapenade, and the second recipe will be creamed Roquefort and walnuts. After the demonstration, we will have a question and answer period where you can ask Chef Yannick Anton any questions you have on the recipes. And now that I've given you a little bit of background on Le Cordon Bleu and our chef today, we can jump right in.
Okay, here we go. The recipe demo lasts about 25 minutes, after which we'll have all the questions.
Bonjour, my name is Yannick Anton. I'm the executive chef of the restaurant Signature and chef instructor at Le Cordon Bleu Ottawa. So today, for a festive canapé, basically, I'm going to do toast with black olive tapenade, red mullet, a bit like a ceviche, okay, and with a bit of dill. Okay, so for that, what we'll need for material, you will have a pan to put your toasted bread, okay, in the oven. You will need a food processor, okay. And then after all the ingredients here, you will need black olive, some chopped parsley, pepper, lemon juice and olive oil for more tapenade. Obviously tapenade, we can add anchovy. I didn't put it in that recipe because of sometimes of the taste of people. They don't too much are fan with anchovy. So here it's very like a vegan tapenade. Then you will have some red mullet fillets that are already been filleted and no bone and also skin off, okay? Some chopped dill, some lemon juice, a bit of olive oil here that I already macerate in with a bit of garlic. And for decoration, you will have some fresh dill, a bit of pink peppercorn, and also I will do some lemon wedges. Okay, so let's start. So first, for that recipe, I'm going to do the bread, the toasted bread, as it needs to cool down a bit. So first, we trim the crust, okay, to the size of the bed desired, okay. Then I'm going to cut triangle. Voila. I put it on my tray to go in the oven. All right. Voila. So same thing, the second one. Voila. I trim it a bit more, not too big. Huh? Voila. Voila. Here in my oven. So just a few minutes, maybe like 3-4 minutes, that's it, just to get a bit golden brown. Now, we're going to start with our lemon wedges. So for that, I need a fresh lemon. So we're going to cut both sides. Voila. Then we're going to peel, just the skin. So when we see the flesh appearing, voila, now we go nice and easy. Voila. So we go with small wedges of the skin. No rush. Voila. Until we don't see any more white from the membrane. Voila. Now, with that, I'm going to cut in between the white membrane, okay, the segment, voila, okay. Voila, with my knife, so nice and gentle, we try to make sure there is no white membrane on my segment, voila. And the last one, voila. So this one here, now I'm going to cut them in half, voila, and that we will use for decoration after on our canapé. So like I said, this canapé is a bit familiar to me because I'm originated from the south of France. So really the red mullet, that's a fish we found really in the Mediterranean Sea, especially also in the coast of Nice. So tapenade also being a recipe from Provence. So a lot of flavor, very nice for actually Christmas. Will make people very happy, and also because red mullet you can substitute also if you want with red snapper or sea bass or sea bream even, but it's also a ceviche, don't cook slightly with the lemon juice. Right now very trendy, donc very nice, very flavorful recipe. I'm going to check my toast right now. Voilà. I'm going to turn them. Voilà, I continue to toast them. Now I'm going to do my red mullet, okay? So they're already skin off. You have already no bone, okay? So I'm just going to cut some thin slice like that, a bit in an angle, okay? Voila. That I'm going to put that to marinate with my olive oil and garlic. So not too thick, about like 3 mm thickness when you do your slice. It's nice, like all small pieces, they marinate nicely with all the flavor of the garlic, then with the dill, and also they cook slightly with the lemon. Voila. Okay, so I finish my last fillet. So that you can ask at your fish market, they can fillet the red snapper for you. Voila. So now I'm going to mix nicely, voila, my fish. I'm going to season, voila, salt, pepper, voila, a bit of lemon juice, and here I have some chopped dill that I'm going to put inside, voila. Voilà. And we're going to let it marinate for about 3-4 minutes, the time all the flavor impregnate our fish. Voilà. So, meanwhile here, voilà, my toast are ready. Okay, so nice light golden brown. I put my oven at 200 degrees Celsius, so you see for about 3-4 minutes our toast are ready. Now for the tapenade, so obviously you can buy your tapenade already made, very easy. But today I decide we're going to make it ourselves. So you need black olive. This one are Kalamata olive, but you can take any olives that you like, basically. So I put my olive in a food processor. Then we'll have capers. I will have some lemon juice, some chopped parsley. Voilà. Then we're going to make a puree. Voilà. So I let it turn for about 2 minutes. Okay. The time my puree become a bit smooth. Then I'm going to emulsify with some really nice olive oil. So I personally prefer the olive oil from the south of France, okay, with a lot of fruitiness into it. But olive oil, it's like wine. You have to taste it. You have to make sure. Some are a bit more peppery, so it's really about your taste. Voilà, my puree is almost done here. So now I can emulsify with my olive oil. Voilà. Voilà, so here I have a nice and smooth puree. Okay, now I'm going to put it in my ramequin. So olives are already in saumure, so a bit salted, so I'm not going to add any seasoning in my tapenade. Voilà. So here I have a nice and smooth tapenade. So now we're ready to actually start our canapé. So I'm going to line up my toasted bread. Voilà. We're going to spread the tapenade on top of our bread. Voilà, so nice and easy. So you take a spoon, or if you have a small spatula. Voilà. So just a thin layer. Don't need to be too thick. Tapenade, it's a bit strong, so. Voilà. Then after, on top of my tapenade, I'm going to put my filet of red snapper. Voilà. So you make sure you spread the tapenade all over, even in the corner of my toasted bread. You need to have tapenade everywhere. Voilà. Voilà. So here, all my bread are toasted with the tapenade. Now, I'm going to put my fish, okay, that I marinated. So we try to avoid to put the sliced garlic, because it's still raw, and they are not cut too small, so it will be very strong to actually eat. Voilà. So small pieces of red mullet. Voilà. So on each toast. So a lot of flavor from the dill. A bit with cooking with the lemon juice. You have the tapenade, a lot of flavor from the south of France. I suggest you ask really your fish supplier to give you the best fish they have, fresh, especially when we do a ceviche. It's always very important, the quality of your product. Voilà. Here I have a bit of my lemon that I cut in pieces. Voilà. So I put one piece per canapé. Voilà. Here I'm going to put a few pieces of pink pepper. Voilà. Just on top of my fish. Voilà. That will give a bit of floral flavor. Also for decoration, for color. Voilà, very nice. Now I'm going to put a fresh piece here of dill. Okay. Just to finish, to have a bit of freshness and also a bit of lightness. Bring some height a bit to your canapé. Voilà. So really important is really the quality of your product. Always fresh. The olive oil, very good quality of olive oil with a bit of fruitiness. Voilà. So now my canapé are ready. Voilà, so you have some beautiful toast with black olive and red mullet ceviche with a bit of dill and really nice, like I said, flavor from the south of France. So for our second canapé, we will have a Roquefort and walnut cream on a toasted multigrain bread. So what you will need for that recipe, we will have a cutter for about 4.5 centimeters, so multigrain bread. You will have something, a pan to put in your oven to toast the bread. You will need a mixing bowl where you're going to mix your cream cheese and also Roquefort cream. Then for our ingredients here, for decoration, I'm going to have an endive. We're going to have Roquefort, cream cheese, walnut, a bit of chives, and also some chopped parsley. Okay, so let's start by the bread. Okay, because it needs to toast and to cool down slightly. Okay, so here with my cutter, I just cut into my slice of bread. Voila. So I'm going to get about 8 to 10 canapés. Voilà. Voilà. I need 3 more. Et voilà. So that bread now, I'm going to toast it. Voilà. So same temperature as earlier, 200 degrees for about like 4 minutes until it gets golden brown. Now here I'm going to cut my endive, so I'm just going to cut the tips. Okay, that will be just for decoration. So here I'm taking out the external leaves who are not sometimes especially nice. Voila. Then I'm going to cut them in half. Voilà. So nice and easy, and we're going to season them with a bit of salt, pepper, and also I have an amazing olive oil, something very floral, very fruity, but this one has been flavored with a bit of lemon. So a bit of citrusy flavor will go very well with your endive. Voilà. So here, put a pinch of salt, pinch of pepper, and my olive oil. Voilà, nicely. I'm a bit generous because it has a very nice flavor. So I really want to see, to feel that citrusy flavor into my oil and my endive. Voilà. So that we keep them on the side. Now from Roquefort cream. So here I'm going to take my Roquefort. Voilà. My cream cheese. Here I put pinch of salt, something, pinch of pepper, and now I'm going to puree both of them together to incorporate very well. And that will be used as a spread on top of our bread. Voilà. So in that mix, Roquefort and cream cheese, I'm going to add after my chopped parsley and also my chopped walnut. Voilà. So I make sure I get to a smooth cream. Voilà, like that. Here I have my chopped parsley. Voilà. Here I have some walnut. Walnut, this one I already toast. So just leave them in your oven for about a minute, as I will bring a bit the flavor and the nuttiness of your walnut. Voilà. Here I'm going to chop them a bit fine, but not in powder. You want to see, you want to taste a bit the crunchiness of your walnut. Voilà. So I keep them in pieces. Voilà. Very important. It's really not too fine. Voilà. Voilà. So now I mix them, voilà, with my Roquefort. Voilà, so nice, easy. Voilà, so I have my cream, I have my endive. Here I have my chives. Also I keep a few pieces of walnut, just in half, that I will put on top of my canapé for decoration. So here my canapé is slightly toasted, so I'm going to pull it out. So very important also, as you see in the front, you can do also a bit of decoration for your canapé. So by example here I take a slice of tree, the trunk of the tree, very nice for plating, especially for canapé, with a bit some branch to give a bit of festive theme into my my canapé. It's holiday season. Voilà. So now I'm going to put my cream a bit in a dome. Voilà. On top of my toast. So my toast here is slightly warm. Voilà. And very important is to give a bit of height, because after we're going to put our walnut, we're going to put our endive, so it's very important that we give some volume to our canapé. Voilà. So with your spoon, you just take a bit of the mix. You're going to have the crunchiness of the walnut. Voilà. Also with a multigrain bread, very nice very nice bread, or country bread also. Very nice to use for this this type of canapé. Voilà. And the last one. So that's two canapés I did today. Why I choose them is because they are very tons of flavor, very flavorful, very good for holiday season. Voilà. So now I have my canapé. I'm going to put here a piece of endive. Voilà. So I stick my endive into my the cheese. Voilà. So 1/2 per canapé. So just the tips of the endive. Voilà. That's why I put my cheese in a dome shape, to be able to do something nice and light with my canapé. Voilà. Now I'm going to put pieces of walnut. Voilà. Voilà. And here I have a bit of chives. So the chives, I'm going to cut it. Voilà. Same thing, I'm going to give a bit of height to my canapé. So I stick a bit the bottom of the chives into my cheese. Voilà. So all that, it's very important, is to give some volume and some fineness to your canapé. Voilà. So now, for presentation, so you had the one a bit more modern from the first canapé with the voilà. So here is you have your red mullet ceviche and black olive tapenade, and on the other one you have the Roquefort cream with walnut and endive. So two very flavorful canapé for the festive season. Two different type of design depending what you want. You have pine cone and some branch also of pine. Very nice for decoration during that season. So I wish everyone an happy holiday for 2022, and I see you in 2023 for more culinary delights.
Great. So thank you all for watching the video. We have here Chef Yannick to answer your questions about the recipes that were presented. Any other festive recipe that you have any questions about, or anything you want really in terms of the recipes, or even the Cordon Bleu Ottawa or cookbook itself. So I'll start with the first question. Can you explain ceviche? You were talking about lemon cooking with the fish. What is ceviche?
So ceviche, basically, it's a fresh, the importance here actually is the very freshness of the fish, finely sliced and also marinated in a bit of acid. So usually it's lemon,
You can take a different type of lemon, like calamansi or yuzu, by example, who give a bit of more floral flavor. And then usually we add a bit of oil also, because the fat is very important when you eat. Personally, when I eat a ceviche, on the palate, you have a completely different taste. So a bit of olive oil, for example, or some flavor oil, lemon oil or orange oil, depending of what you do.
Okay, great. The next question, best wine pairing for the first recipe or any sort of bubbly, maybe you can give like two.
For the canapé that's present, the best is actually champagne or rosé, very nice. Also, a Vouvray, also in a white wine, very, very nice for this type of canapé, actually. But champagne, I will definitely suggest for that.
Okay, perfect. Next question. Is it possible to use a different cheese to Roquefort, and would Stilton work?
So Stilton will work, definitely. Might be a bit more smoother than the Roquefort, which is a bit more dry than the Stilton. You can do it with Gorgonzola also. Goat cheese works very well with goat cheese. So after something, if you don't like the walnut, you can put hazelnut, or there is different type of other nuts, but those type like Stilton, Gorgonzola, Roquefort, we did goat cheese very well with this type of canapé, actually.
Okay, perfect. Next question. How far in advance can you make these before serving?
Unfortunately, especially for the ceviche, I would say not too long in advance, but at least an hour. The Roquefort one can be done a bit earlier, but the problem is if we put it in the fridge, your bread might get a bit soggy. You will lose a bit of the crispiness of your toasted bread. That's the problem. So I will say an hour before serving, you can finish them, keep them, especially if you do the one with the ceviche, with the fish, you keep them in the fridge. The Roquefort can stay room temperature, as it's very nice if it's a bit soft.
All right, great, thank you. What can you use in place of the red mullet?
I will use probably sea bass. You can use sea bass. You can use white tuna albacore if you like. You can use red snapper. Okay, those are bigger fish, obviously, than the red mullet, but you can use definitely even sea bream, those type of fish. Okay, ceviche, even scallop. You can use scallop, thinly sliced of scallop, and do the same concept. You don't need to have also especially a fish. It can be scallop. Definitely very good with this type of canapé.
Okay, perfect. If I want to cook the mullet, is there a way to do that after I put on the top of the bread in the oven? Thank you for the amazing demo.
If you want, yeah, you can cook a bit for the person who doesn't like really raw fish. You definitely can cook a bit more the red mullet. You can actually cook it a bit even before to marinate it in the lemon juice, okay? Just to give a start. And then after, when you put it on top of your canapé, you can put it back in the oven a bit to finish it. But I will suggest you cook it a bit before we put in marinade.
Okay, perfect. Does that affect the taste of the fish? Like if it's like more raw or more cooked, like what would the taste?
That will change a bit, but mainly what it changes is really the texture of the fish. When you have a raw fish like a ceviche, it's more like creamy, a bit more soft. When you're going to cook it, it will be more flaky. Okay, voilà, that's pretty much it. But you lose a bit on the freshness of the canapé for sure. But we have some dishes, actually, you can look online sometimes, where we call escabeche. So that's basically a fish that we cook slowly also with a courbouillon, so with a broth, okay, that we pour on top of our fish to cook slowly. So that's something also you can do. You can have a bit of a stock, like with just water, carrots, onion, white wine, a bit of vinegar. You boil that, and then you pour on your fish fillet. So that will cook slowly your fish, and then you can put it on your canapé.
Okay, perfect. What is your favorite brand of black olives? Is it okay to use black olives that have ferrous gluconate? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Or is it a no-no?
Personally, I like when I do the tapenade, I use Kalamata olive. Personally, okay, for a lot of tapenade. That's the most famous olive we find here in Canada, actually. I won't go too much in a dry olive. In a drier olive, you use sometimes for cocktail. Personally, coming from the south of France, we use the picholine to do the tapenade, who are very light in flavor.
Okay, perfect. Next question. I'm curious why you select endive to balance the flavor. Is there an initiative you selected with blue cheese? Oh, is there a reason you selected with blue cheese? Thanks again.
But there is a famous salad actually where we use the mix endive, Roquefort, and walnut. It's already a very famous salad existing. The only thing we do right there is to put it on a canapé. But on those days, the endive are no longer too bitter. They are being processed a bit differently, so they are kind of a bit on a lighter kind of bitterness. So it goes very well, both together, the Roquefort and the endive with the walnut. That balance each other very good, very well. Sorry.
Perfect. What is considered an ideal canapé size to serve? Just one bite?
Yes. So usually you want to look to 1 or 2 bites maximum. Okay, because after to handle the canapé is going to be a bit difficult, or you will need a plate. But as it is a finger bite, you want really to have that small, about like 4.5 centimeter, 5 centimeter maximum. Like that, the person will have the canapé in their hand and a glass of champagne, let's say, on the other end. So you don't want too much to have a bigger portion than that.
Perfect. Next question kind of relates to that. How many canapés do you recommend per person?
Well, it really depends of the length actually of your cocktail. I will recommend around like 4 or 5 canapés per person. Okay, for about like 1 hour. Don't forget, if people are enjoying themselves with a glass of wine, they like to eat something, so you need a bit of, I will say, volume in terms of diversity of canapés, but also of quantity. So at least 5, I will say.
Mm-hmm. And would you suggest that each of your canapés, let's say you're throwing a party, each canapé should be semi-different to each other? Like one should be maybe like a salty one should be like a creamy one.
Yeah, you want to balance basically also what a fish and a meat in terms of protein, okay? And I will suggest, because on those days become more and more popular, something a bit vegetarian. So you have to balance a bit these 3. I will say 2 with fish, 2 with no fish, with cheese or vegetable-oriented canapé.
Perfect. So the next question, it's hard to find fresh fish in Ottawa. Can you buy fresh frozen fish for the canapés?
Yes, actually, I will suggest sometimes you have to pay attention of the freshness. Personally speaking, when I go in a store to get some fish for myself, I never had really a set idea on what kind of fish I'm going to get. I go really by the visual and which one is the freshest to my taste. Now it's more, I will suggest more to get into frozen because also freezing kills some of the bacteria, especially on the tuna. Like if you use a red tuna, by example, sushi grade, they recommend actually to freeze it because you have a bacteria and that will kill that bacteria. So it's better to get frozen than trying fresh, which is not, which is so-so.
Okay, perfect. Second last question. Should you bring your cheese to room temperature before preparing? So I think we answered this a little bit.
Yes. You have to have your cheese to room temperature. You will have a better emulsion with both cheese, the cream cheese and the Roquefort.
Okay, perfect. And in relation to serving a whole meal, what is your criteria for choosing canapés? And are canapés the same as, and another word that I can't pronounce,
amuse-bouche?
Amuse-bouche.
Well, you want to have, depending what you prepare, like I suggest really you pay a bit attention of the flavor you have during your dinner. Then you match a bit the canapé in that type of term. The one I propose on the video are really flavorful canapé. Tapenade is really strong. They are a bit oriented, especially with the one from with the fish towards the south of France. The Roquefort a bit less, but you have to see a bit the variety you offer. Mainly, I will suggest be careful of the strength of your canapé. You want to balance them a bit to each other. Okay, that's why we didn't put only Roquefort with your cream. We mixed with cream cheese to lower a bit the strength of the Roquefort. Okay, canapés. Yeah, it's a bit of a starter, I will say. You can have many canapés to do an amuse-bouche, and then after you go to your dinner, which is the appetizer and main course. But amuse-bouche is usually just before your first dish, your first appetizer.
Okay, perfect. I actually had a question about the olive oils. So you were using many olive oils during these two recipes, and you mentioned the flavors of olive oils. So like one might have like a more of a citrus, one might be a little bit more salty. What do you have any olive oils that you prefer using? Like what are the brand names? Can you get them anywhere?
Olive oil is a bit like wine, to be honest. It's your own preference. That's how I'm going to put it. You have to taste them. You have to. Some of them are very peppery, like the olive oil from Spain, the Albertina, are very peppery. So you have to see how much spiciness you like in your olive oil. Personally, being raised in the south of France, the olive oil we have with the Picholine olive are more into a floral flavor. So I'm more personally, because of my background, tempted to have a floral olive than a spicy olive oil. Okay, so it's very important. There is a store, actually, a very nice store in Ottawa. It's called the Unrefined Olive in the Glebe in Ottawa, who have tons of olive oil, different country. Olive oil from Greece, also very nice olive oil in Greece. Very floral, a lot of taste. That's really some oil you use for finishing, okay? Just like for ceviche or things like that.
Okay, perfect. I have another question from one of our audience members. Could I use smooth ricotta to dilute the Roquefort instead of cream cheese, or is it sacrilege?
Well, the thing with ricotta is difficult to have a smooth texture. So it will stay slightly crumbly as a texture versus the cream cheese. So it depends what you like. There is different recipe where we use ricotta, but for sure you'll still have a bit of texture, like crumbly texture into it.
Okay, perfect. And I mean, the last question, which we don't know the answer to right now, but when is the next demo? We aren't 100% sure, but obviously this one went great. And thank you so much, Chef Yannick, for joining us at the end there. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think we've run out of time. I'm not sure, Matthew, if you have some
Thanks
words.
very much. I'd just like to say thank you to Victoria and Chef Anton and the whole team at Le Cordon Bleu in Ottawa for putting this great demo together with these two delicious canapés. And thanks to all of you attendees for all the great questions. And just to let you know that the recording of the demo and the whole Q&A will be shared online on the Cookbook website and app within the next 24 hours. And be sure to check out there's a whole book worth of finger food and canapés from the Le Cordon Bleu Home Collection available on Cookbook. And there's also a whole book in the same series called Christmas, so all around cooking at Christmas. And the last thing to mention is that until the end of the month, there is a Black Friday discount with half-price Cookbook Premium membership, which gives unlimited access to all of these Le Cordon Bleu books and more than 600 other titles. And in terms of further live streams, you can follow Cookbook on Eventbrite to be alerted to the next live stream. And I hope we'll be working with Le Cordon Bleu again soon. So thanks very much, everyone.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye
Great.
then.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.